is hit again on news that same-store sales for January are down 36% on last year. Plus, an escalation in costs will wipe out profits for this quarter. And it's also now the subject of a national criminal investigation likely to focus on what its leadership team knew about the condition of its restaurants. Karen Short is a senior food retail analyst at Deutsche Bank. Karen, you say that the situation is unprecedented. No concept has ever been so loved and so abandoned, making previous scenarios irrelevant. If you believe that, where does that leave shareholders?
Well, I think a lot of shareholders still hold out hope for this concept because it has, again, been so loved, and this is unprecedented. So although I think people were very surprised by what the trajectory is going to look like into 2017, because really before today's earnings, you were buying the stock on what 2017 earnings were going to look like, and your expectations just came down meaningfully after last night's results. So you have to do an adjustment, and we're seeing that, obviously, adjustment in the stock today, reflecting what 2017 will now look like. But people still want to hold out hope that this company can return to its glory days.
Yeah, I mean, to the core of your argument here, Wells Fargo has moved it to an outperform rating on the stock because they say share price recoveries closely track the recapture of lost same-store sales, and the majority of concepts that have experienced food safety issues return to same-store sales growth within 12 to 15 months. That's the challenge that you're against.
Well, the issue is that no concept has had comps down 36%. I mean, you've definitely had situations, Taco Bell, for example, in 2006, where comps were down, 5, 6, 7 for a couple quarters, and then they recovered. But there has never been, in the history at least, where media takes such a big role in the messaging. There's never been a history of something where you've had comps down 36%. So I don't think anyone can say with certainty that there is going to be a recovery back to where Chipotle was again in its glory days.
Karen, with that in mind, we have seen a dramatic slump in the share price since this came out last fall, but isn't it still valued Chipotle higher than its peers and the overall market?
Well, I mean, the question is really what's base earnings, right? So we took our numbers down meaningfully for 2017, and based on our new 2017 EPS and EBITDA estimates, the stock is trading well above any of its peers at the current levels. I mean, 37 PE and probably 16 times currently on EV/EBITDA. So, yeah, it's an expensive stock with a lot of hair on it right now.
Yeah, but you still, forgive me, you still come back to this argument that it's a nationwide franchise that people know. And, OK, the same-store sales are down, but that people could return to. I mean, we keep going round, but it's the same fundamental argument, isn't it? It's dissimilar in many ways from what was happening to McDonald's. But McDonald's got one hell of a share price rally coming out of fixing problems that were much more minor than this.
Yeah, and again, the company's quote was that 60% of their customers are less likely to come back. So 63% of their customers know about the issue, and of those customers, 60% are likely to come back less. That's a big problem. That's a big hurdle to get over. And again, the company is very confident that this will never happen again. That's a really big problem from a communication perspective in my mind, because if it happens again, who knows what would happen at that point.
Or worse, the federal national investigation turns up some nasties. Karen, we have to leave it there, but it's good to talk to you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks very much,
Karen Short from Deutsche Bank.